Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Super Castlevania 4. In the last part we did stages 8 and 9, and now we're going to head to stage 8 with some very familiar music. So I'll be quiet for a minute and let you hear it. Oh, bloody tears, I've missed you so much. Then again, you were also in the previous game I played, so yeah. Yeah, for the final stages of the game, we actually get some classic Castlevania music, and I quite love it. Not my favorite mixes, but some really good ones. Anyway, the Clock Tower stage here is surprisingly not the most annoying one. Usually that's the rule of thumb, Clock Tower is the worst, but it's rather tame here. Obviously you got some gears that can fall on you and such, but nothing too big. Actually, I don't even think we've gotten to the falling gears yet, my bad. We got some Medusa heads, which are a staple for clock towers, but in this game they're not that bad. One swipe will take them out. The gears, of course, when you're sitting on the gears, you will in fact be moved in the direction they are moving. Also, kneel here, otherwise you'll die. And also, this is the first time we see these little chain things on, well, conveyor belt chain. That made total sense, and I don't care. Let's see. Yeah, the falling gears I was talking about are actually on the next screen. My bad. And we get more Medusa heads and Axe Knights. Honestly, I still find the easiest Axe Knights to be in the next game, and I'm gonna play for you guys. Yeah, these gears are rather easy to dodge for that one. Just go back down the stairs, and this next one just gets to the second platform and stays still, like so. And that jump that I just made onto that gear is surprisingly tricky, by the way. I don't know why it is, though. Actually, with that said, with the music and all, I just realized a lot of the clock towers have fantastic music. Huh. Worst area? Great theme, I suppose, although I can't remember the song that the one in, Symphony of the Night has for the life of me. And did, yeah, well, Rondo Blood didn't technically have a clock tower. It had a clock element into one of the levels, but didn't have a pure clock tower. Huh. Odd. Also, I love this. I somehow dodged that with 1 pixel. I don't know how I did that. But I'm glad I did, because I don't like taking damage in this stage. Oh, and by the way, I should mention, that's not the only time I'm going to be silent for a song in this part. I'm going to be doing it 2 other times, because classic Castlevania deserves respect. Actually, speaking of Castlevania music, I'm not sure what I consider my favorite track. It's either Vampire Killer or Bloody Tears, but I'm not sure which. I don't care, as long as I enjoy the games. Also, I hate this bone dragon quite a bit, because it is literally in every way in the way. Although I learned something now. If you go off screen, because that's technically a bottomless pit by now, if you go off screen while you're on one of these, you're completely fine. I did not know that, I'll be honest. Come on. Thank you. Also, how are these supposedly stone little hooks have flapping wings? I don't know. Anyway, this is actually a rather basic screen right here. You only got blood skeletons and normal skeleton knights, rather. Blood skeletons, as usual, will regenerate after a while, so watch out for that. And we're at the boss of the stage. who is another classic Castlevania guy after the Mummy last part. Not the Mummy. Frankenstein last part. This is the Mummy. And he's honestly rather easy because you can flail your whip around like this. This is another boss where the freaking cross boomerang is very useful, as you'll see momentarily. Maybe not. I've actually never had him show up in the same place twice, I'll be honest. His bandage attack is rather easy to dodge, and if you have your whip flailing, so is his fire attack. And as usual, cross boomerang is absolutely ridiculous if you know how to use it. Best Castlevania sub-weapon? It's up there with Holy Water, at least. It's not the dagger or the bounce gem or whatever that weird little garlic thing was in Symphony. Yeah, but the Mummy isn't that hard, honestly. I've faced harder mummies in Symphony of the Night. And I never give that mummy a chance, mind you, because Chris Sigrim. Oh, and also, if you can get him in the middle, it's the best opportunity you can get for killing him. And he dissolves into himself a la Final Fantasy. Okay, then. But that's the end of Stage A. Can you guess what the next stage is called? Totally Stage Z. Also, this clock's time is completely wrong. Although it's scarily close to what it is right now, I'll give it that. It's like 10 minutes off. Holy. Anyway, Stage B has another very familiar intro theme and another very familiar song playing, so I'll be silent for that one as well. Also, this is technically the last stage of the game. More on that in a moment. Yeah, Vampire Killer is much shorter than Bloody Tears, but it's still an awesome mix. Also, for when I play Symphony of the Night eventually, keep an eye out for these enemies right now, because they'll show up in a certain area of that game. And they can actually have a good, chance of dropping a certain weapon. Anyway, it's time for that section that every Castlevania game has, the bridge. Thankfully, it's nowhere near as annoying. If you just hold right and never... as long as you pretty much just hold right, you should generally be good. If you want to go for these candles, I recommend the cross boomerang, but I didn't go for it. But as long as you hold right, these bats have little to no chance of actually hitting you. But yeah, I love this mix of Vampire Killer. Really good. There's one other Castlevania classic song that's going to be remixed, and it's coming up on the next screen in about 2-3 seconds, so I'm going to be silent for that one. This is what I never talked about much, but it's from Castlevania 3. You should recognize it. Okay, it's at this point I should mention, if you might have noticed that spike wheel that was at the bottom of the screen when I started this area. That thing is actually slowly chasing after you throughout this section, and you need to keep away from it, because like the bottom of the screen right now, it is instant death. Luckily, it's rather slow. Also, those spikes are instant death as well, and these platforms are really annoying to time right. So yeah, beginning. I think we've only ever seen this in my old Castlevania 3 Let's Play, which I plan on redoing at some point, because I used save states live during that one, and showing off certain things aside, I don't like doing that anymore. Like whenever I do a certain shining attack in a certain game, if you catch what I mean. Luckily though, this entire section isn't that long, although you might notice just how ridiculous the amount of time they gave us for the stages in the top right. We're at 846. There's a reason for that, as we'll see momentarily. Easily the worst section of platforms is right here, though, because these things are really picky about how you go across them. Ugh, I hate those jumps. Also, if you need another piece of meat, there's one right over there. But I don't. I can't tell if this is supposed to be a Dwelling of Doom remix from Castlevania 2. I don't really want to know. But either way, it's time for what people consider the hardest boss in the game. Even harder than Dracula himself. Slogra! Basic strategy for the first phase is to hit him and then go to the other side of the screen and duck, because his only attack is that spear at this point, and you can duck right under it and its shots. It's not this part that people consider hard, it's the second phase, actually. Although I will mention, when he looks a bit black and greenish, he's completely invincible. Thankfully, in later games, they got rid of that fiddle ability of his. And at half health, he'll lose it, and then he'll actually become annoying. He'll still fly up to the top of the screen when you hit him, but he has that beak attack, which is deceptively hard to dodge and has a deceptively large hitbox. So yeah, watch out for that. There's a reason people consider him the hardest boss in the game. In fact, he's actually being rather cooperative for once. He's usually much more harder to dodge and a lot more active. So I kind of got lucky here. And he's dead. And now it's going to be time for the second of the, I want to say 4 or 5 bosses in this stage. I'm only showing off 2 in this video because I wanted to at least have 10 minutes of footage next time. And the second boss is someone we'll actually be seeing again along with Slogra later on. Those of you who have played at least through to the first boss of Symphony of the Night know who it's going to be. Meet Gaibin! Like Slogra, he has 2 phases. The first one's the more annoying of the which instead this time, where he flies around and then swoops down, causing stalactites to fall, or stalactites rather, and fire some fireballs. Cross Boomerang is really good for this phase, especially. At half health, he'll turn red and begin his second phase, where he'll fly up in the air and shoot fireballs, which are easily destroyed with your flailing whip. Cross Boomerang, especially good for this phase. But yeah, as for what the next boss is going to be, which is going to start off the next part, it's someone that's quite deadly, if you get what I mean, viewers. But yeah, we'll be seeing Gaibin again later on in the series. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, rate, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And next time on Let's Play Super Castlevania 4, we'll be seeing what's on top of these stairs, and fighting whatever bosses may remain in the stage, probably ending off the game in the process. See you guys then.